Hey guys, welcome to our Partner First webinar. Today, we'll be hosting Miles Walker of Graphus. As you guys can see, we're having a bit of technical difficulties with Ray's internet, so I do apologize for that. But we do have a great presentation for you guys coming up. We're going to be talking phishing. Is your business ready for the next big attack? Um, like I said, just bear with us right now. We're just solving through some technical difficulties, but we'll go ahead and get started. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring in our good friend, Sir Miles Walker of Graphus AI. What's up,
Hey
Miles? How you doing?
guys.
What's up, Miles? How are you doing today?
Good. How are you guys? That's better. I was like sounded like Darth Vader there for a second.
Yeah, this is a unprecedented start to our webinar, but I know that we have some good bit of content for attendees in the live stream right now. Um, So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Miles? Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us what you do, your role, and what you do at Graphis.
Sure, Simon. So I'm a channel development manager here at Graphus. We're going to be talking a little bit about phishing today. What do? I do a lot of events. I do a lot of thought leadership. I get to host and chat with thought leaders throughout the industry. I think I was mentioning to you earlier. I just did an event recently with Rachel Wilson, who is the queen of the hackers. That's what her AKA is, otherwise known as. And she was incredible. We talked all about cybersecurity, about the London Olympics, where she was in charge of the whole cyber team there. And next month, I'm going to be talking to a gentleman named Tony Sales, known as Britain's biggest fraudster. So I'll probably see you at an event if I haven't met you yet. Obviously, Simon and we got to hang out in San Antonio last month. I think it was you, Sean, Chaz. Was there anyone else I'm missing?
From our team, we had that, and then we were also with Amelia of ID Agent. We had Keith, our good friend Keith. But that was a good time. We're just happy to kind of be back out at events, meeting partners, meeting with friends, and just getting that collaboration together. I know that you'll be attending another event next month, if I'm not mistaken. So you want to go ahead and give details on that?
Yeah, so we have our event, Connect IT, which is going to be in Vegas. I heard you're not coming, which means I'll probably be relaxing in bed most evenings by 10 a.m. with a nice glass of tea in
That
hand, not
that's
going out late at all.
that's what you do in Vegas, right? You just sit down, you just relax.
Totally.
So yeah,
I, I always love going to Vegas because I usually do like 3 or 4 days there, and I don't think I even touch a piece of fruit the entire time I'm there because it's like Vegas is like alcohol, fatty foods, and nothing healthy. So I'm looking forward to it.
nice. So for anyone going to Connect IT Global, be sure to link up with Miles. I'm sure I'll tell you right now, it'll be the most interesting time as he has stories for everything. But today we are here to talk about phishing and what Graphis does. So I know that you have a presentation, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring it up if you want to go ahead and dive into the actual content that our audience is here
I
for.
just have to do. I just have to have one sip before I start here, Simon.
Uh, uh, And for the ones that don't know, we are giving those away at every conference. Our next conference is in Orlando. So if you want a cup with Sean and Ray's face on it, make sure to visit our booth and you'll get an awesome T-shirt as well. I appreciate you for that, Miles.
I want to see. I want to see your face on the next edition, Volume 2 of this
That
cup. Okay.
Ray, you hear that? We need to make sure that that happens.
I mean, if you need, I can throw my image there. You know what? It could be Simon and Miles on the back. I'm fine with that.
We were the champions of cornhole
Of
in San
course.
Antonio, so I think we should get a cup.
I
But
sorry, go on.
let's go ahead and dive into the actual presentation. We're running a bit of it short on time.
Sure.
If you want to go ahead and start
Let's do
discussing
this.
about fishing.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously I'm talking about phishing here. Is your business prepared for the next big attack? Because we're probably a little bit shorter on time, I'll breeze through this so you can see myself there. Simon, this was at an event. I was with Sean in, where were we? We were in Boston together for a few nights. That was at the start of September. And a little drum roll here. We took home Best New Solution at the show. And what is so amazing, I can't remember what the award Sean won was, but I know he won an award as well at that show. Do you remember the name of it?
It was the best revenue booster award, and I know I remember of it because he hasn't. He mentions it every day to me.
I bet, I bet. Well, I got mine right here. I got mine right here. It's right there. Just in case anyone needs to see it up close.
There you go.
There it
We have
is.
we have an award-winning speaker with us right now, ladies and gentlemen. So
I
make sure
mean,
you pay attention.
you said it, I thought it. So once again, guys, it's Miles Walker here, Channel Development Manager for Graphus. So excited to be here. We've taken home a few cybersecurity awards. You can see them up on the screen right there. So let's cruise through. So a little bit about Graphus. We've been around since 2015. We came into the Kaseya fold in 2020 in the summer. I got brought on soon after that. We obviously do automated phishing defense for Office 365 and G Suite. That's what we're doing here. And how do they deploy ransomware? This is a great slide. Obviously, talking a little bit about phishing and a lot about ransomware. Ransomware is, a hot topic that everybody's talking about right now. So, a lot of my presentations, a lot of my webinars, a lot of the stuff I'm doing is about phishing, spear phishing, and ransomware. So, this is a couple of the things that we look after here at Graphus. And let's look at some numbers, Simon. So this one's pretty crazy. I want to say, let's look at the first one. So this is since the start of COVID in 2020, phishing attacks are up how much percent? Let's see if you're paying attention here.
It takes 100%, which is a
Oh, nailed it.
insanely big number.
Yeah, so over 600%. Ransomware attacks are up huge this past year as well. There was over 300 million ransomware attacks just in the first half of 2021. So that's continuing to rise as well. And who are they going after? A lot of the time, they're going after the C-suite. So some people will call it spear phishing. Some people will call it whaling when you're going after the big fish. So targeted attacks, targeted phishing attacks are called spear phishing. And 78% of C-suite has been hit or they've been trying to be hit by an attack. You can see the average loss from a business email compromise, $130,000. Once again, in 2021, that's gone through the roof, and that's up about 40%, and it's well over $200,000 now for the average cost of a successful business email compromise. All right, let's keep going. So, Simon, a little quiz for you. I want to test your skills out here. Which jobs are prone to getting phished the most? High-end executives, human resources, or finance? Any guesses?
I think human resources would be a good choice.
Okay, that's interesting because nobody ever guesses human resources. And so clearly you've done a little bit of your homework. Human resources, the reason why they're getting hit by phishing attacks and also ransomware attacks is because they're opening so many attachments. I know my human resource team here usually does 200 to 300 attachments a day. So you really need to be monitoring what's in those attachments to not have a malicious payload. High-end executives, we talked about that earlier, the C-suite, often spear phishing or whaling attacks. And why they're going after finance, the bling bling, the cha-ching ching. If you can get in with finance and you can hack them or phish them or spear phish them, you got access to the moolah. So there you go.
From my experience, I could tell you guys, we get this for our new employees that join the company, guaranteed every week. We get an email saying from Ray Orsini for us to buy them for us to buy him gift cards. So you can see like firsthand. We
Yeah.
get hit with these emails all the time, and they target new employees that are not too familiar with the company.
Well, I know in my last role, Simon, before this role, I was sitting beside our president. We were having a meeting about marketing, and I got an email come in, and I could see him typing away. And the email said, "Hey, Miles, I want to keep this between us, but I want to do something nice for the team for Christmas." And I was like, "Wow, what a nice guy." He's like, "Go out and buy 10 Amazon gift cards for $100 each. Don't tell our accounting team because I just want to have it come from me." And I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds great." So there's a link there to click, and you had to go through and use that link. And so eventually I said to him, I'm like, so why did you decide to do this? And he's like, "Decide to do what?" I'm like, "To do the extra bonus for the Amazon gift cards." He's like, "What are you talking about?" I showed him my computer, and that's an example of one of the small ways these cyber criminals are trying to get in and attack us these days. So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
probably
guys.
get those every week, Simon?
Yeah, we get those with every new employee. And let me just tell you, I need to say it. If something smells fishy, It is phishing.
I like that. I'm going to be
Yeah,
stealing
I,
that from now on.
I
As
was
soon
waiting for
as how
that.
fishy it is. Well, that leads to my next slide, phishing by the numbers. So we got a lot of numbers here. If you are watching live, this is a great slide to take a photo of. It's great to share with your IT team, your tech team. If you're an MSP with your clients, this kind of gives you a little bit of background on what's going on in the phishing world. Probably the craziest one to me is that 1 in 3 employees are likely to click links to a phishing email. Obviously, with my old boss, I luckily didn't buy those Amazon gift cards, but it's
Right.
becoming more and more popular that these cyber criminals are going after small and medium-sized businesses. So nowadays, it's not just these large-scale businesses they're getting attacked. All right. So, Simon, we're going to look at some of the big players who've been hacked this past year. I'm guessing you've heard about the Colonial Pipeline attack.
Of course.
That happened earlier in the year. They ended up paying a $5 million ransom. This Colonial Pipeline attack, they actually hacked in through one single what? Any guess?
One single click, one single user,
One single password they
one
found
single password.
of a user that had left the company. Okay, so clearly this user had maybe had the password for years. It was a simple password. I don't know if it was a PASS1234 or a PASS123456, but it was a simple password. They got in, and that's how the Colonial Pipeline attack happened, which is so crazy. Bottom left corner, Austin, Texas. This was another cyber attack, and it actually attacked the whole school system in Austin. So they ended up paying a $2 million ransom. And this is something we're seeing a lot this past year is educational institutes are getting hacked with malware, ransomware, and they're getting phished. So what does that mean? The reason why they're going after these education systems is often they don't have the tools in place to make sure that these cyber criminals are being locked out. We obviously remember what happened in Florida. I mean, Simon, you're in Florida. You probably remember Oldsmar, Florida, and they actually hacked into the water system here through TeamViewer, if you can believe that.
Man.
So attacks are on the up and up. Banks are always getting attacked, tech companies, and these are just a couple insights on what's going on right now. All right, Simon, do you recognize any of these logos? Because these are the little companies that are getting hacked. Because we can talk about big companies all day, the Microsofts, the Twitters, the McDonald's recently had a hack, but these are some of the small companies. You recognize any of those logos?
Not personally, I don't, but I do recognize little guys. I hear that a lot.
Okay, so let's look at the middle one. Simon, I'm guessing, with your background and being based in Miami, are you a skier or a snowboarder or neither?
Neither.
Okay, so I'm up in the Pacific Northwest here in Vancouver, Whistler Blackcomb. That's our local ski mountain. I mean, I know Ray used to be a professional skier back in the day. Isn't that correct, Ray?
Yeah. It was me and Tony Hawk. No, wait, it was Sean White, right? That was the snowboarder. One of
Sean
those
White.
guys.
I actually saw Sean White just got married this week, so I like that you worked in the Sean White angle. I like.
Yeah, I'm on top of current events. It was.
Yeah,
I couldn't remember if it was that or Carrot Top. It was one of the two.
Wow, shots fired. All right, so Whistler Blackcomb. This is our local ski mountain. It's about an hour and a half from where we live. The whole mountain was down for 4 days after a cyber attack. So this would be a small or medium-sized business that was down. Emerald Queen. I know Ray likes to play a little blackjack or poker in his spare time.
Oh yeah.
This is a local casino just outside of my province in Washington State, just down from Seattle. They were breached. What else do we have?
Miles, I appreciate it. And first, I apologize. Thank you, Simon, for taking over while my internet is being the usual internet it is. But I like this because you hear all the time, I'm sure you've heard this 1,000 times, Miles, of, oh, we're small. We're not a target. It's not going to affect us. It's not going to be a big deal. They go after the big guys. And nobody cares. They go after whatever's available. You're a target. So I love to see stuff like this. Well, no, I don't like to see guys that got hacked, but you get what I'm saying.
Well, it's so true, Ray. I mean, 2 or 3 years ago, this wasn't happening to little guys. Like you can see right there at the top, Collingwood School. That's a local private school in my hometown. I'll be honest, I did the test to get in when I was 11, and I didn't quite make it into the private school, which was probably a good thing for my development, but we're going to not talk about that right now. Guess how much they got hacked for recently?
Simon, you've been betting 1,000 here. What do you say, man?
Price wise, what do you think? Number wise,
50,000.
$16,000.
16.
Okay.
Wow.
So this is an example. Like, they're not going after people, and they don't always want 100,000 or 200,000. A school like Collingwood, they could actually afford to pay $16,000. They could call up one of their rich donors and be like, "Hey, hook us up." So a lot of these small and medium-sized businesses are getting hit because they know that they're going to probably end up paying the ransom, right? I'm not much of a golfer these days, but Wentworth Golf Club is in just outside of London in England, and they got hit by an attack, and they stole nothing. But you know what they took? It was a fraud attack. So they actually took 4,000 of the members' credit cards.
Oof.
And
that's the catch too, right? The attack's not always you. It's pivoting from you to something else sometimes because you may have information they want. And that's a scary thought, you know?
Totally. And I mean, guess where all those figures are going to probably end up in the next little while?
Oh, that's going to be on the dark web. I'm going to be able to buy that on eBay for or dark. Is there a dark web eBay? I'll be able to buy that.
You know what? That would be an interesting business proposition. I don't think we should give anyone ideas, but I bet there's something out there like that for sure.
I see Amelia in the chat. I'm sure she's going to jump in and like point out the dark web version of you. Actually, please don't. Miles is right. Bad idea.
Well, actually, now that you mentioned Amelia, this is my favorite slide of hers that I've actually stolen. Sorry, not stolen. Repurposed or borrowed for my presentation. What do you think? Beautiful, hey?
So I love this, but I probably love this for a little different reason than you do. Having been on the tech bar, I see a slide that says the new normal, and I have to wonder where that collision of tech bar guests and audience members are colliding with your webinar presentations,
Sure.
and they're taking shots or drinks every time they see that slide.
You know what? I got that problem. You know what? I have no alcohol in here. It's only 10:33 a.m. So I'm at least 27 minutes away from having a drink, right?
And there you go. There's Sandy McGrath, our other favorite Canadian, say a drink.
Which he will be in our tech bar in October, by the way.
Where's
oh
Sandy?
Yeah, he will.
Where's Sandy based? Just so I have an idea.
He was somewhere cold. Sandy, where you at, man? He said it Sandy's told me like 1,000 times. I think it's Vancouver. But he'll mention in a minute. But he actually did live reporting of a shooting in his neighborhood. He was reporting to us from the mall during Tech Bar. Yeah, well, it was rather impressive. Oh, Calgary, there you go.
Okay, so if it was a live shooting, it's not in Vancouver. We don't allow that kind of tomfoolery to happen in this area. But oh yeah, Calgary. My 98-year-old grandfather is in a town called he's gonna hate me that I forgot this. It's in Okotoks, which is southern Calgary, and there's a few more guns in Calgary than there are in Vancouver. They make fun of us.
Is that like the West Coast, East Coast gang thing for the Canadian version?
It is nothing like that. There's no Tupac and Biggie here. Don't worry.
Nice. Are you allowed spitballs in Vancouver?
There we go. Santa's already given it to me. You'll have to give me his details after, because I'm going to go and I'll send him a fruit basket, or I'll send him a yoga mat. He would love that.
The Canadian Showdown live on Partner First. I love it. All right, so 2 and 5 SMBs impacted. That's a ridiculously high number. Yeah. Is that not? That's scary.
So listen, because you know me, Ray. I mean, I graduated from Harvard and Oxford and Cambridge and Yale all at the same time.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to blow your mind.
Same year. It was impressive. I went to that graduation. It was impressive.
We were there together. Yeah. This is 40%. I know. How did I do the math so quick? You can see my hands. I don't have a calculator. 40% of small and medium-sized businesses were impacted by ransomware in 2020. Doesn't mean they actually got hit, but it means
but they were impacted somehow. Their stuff may have gotten stolen from a third party that had their information, or they were hit directly, or whatever. So let me ask you: Do you think this number went up because everybody working from home in 2020, or because they're distributed, or is just it sucks right now?
Okay. Well, are you trying to jump ahead in my slide deck, because that's what I'm going to be talking about in a little bit. So let's.
I promise you, Simon gave me your slide deck, and I have not looked at it once. So.
Ray, I do not believe you. I bet you spent all last night going over each slide individually, taking notes as you always do, coming up with talking points. That's how you are.
I may or may not have had Amelia's slide tattooed, but I'll show that later.
So yes, with the new hybrid model, I know at least in Canada, I know it's a little different. I mean, because Ray, where are you based again?
Well, I'm in Florida. COVID doesn't exist here.
No, but where in Florida?
Oh, Miami, Florida, South Florida.
Okay, yeah. So because I know like we have our office in Miami, and a lot of people have gone back to the office in Miami, but here in Vancouver, we're not back into the office yet. I'm actually going out right after this, so feel very special. I told them that I have to do this incredible presentation because then I'm off to meet some of my team, even though I've been with the company for a year, for the first time in person. So I'm super pumped. I'm doing that for lunch today. I didn't see what did Sandy say? I missed that.
Oh, Sandy said, I don't even look at my own slide decks. So.
All right, well, let's keep going. So, so the hybrid model, you mentioned it, Ray. It's so true. Now, everything has changed. You can't just walk on over in your office and tap on your tech team guy's shoulder, or girl, whatever it is, because it's just different nowadays. I mean, everybody's working from home. There are people going back into the office, but the hybrid model makes it even more complicated because I think when we go back into the office, we might only be in 1 or 2 days a week, which means you have 1 or 2 days. You have to get all your meetings in. You have to get a lot of stuff done. So, if you get one of those emails that comes through that could be malicious, are you going to go talk to your tech team? I don't know.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%.
How have you guys dealt with it in your business?
So we've been completely remote since last year. We proactively went in March and just went fully distributed. Back then, we were probably 90% of the staff was in the office, and with the exception of Sean and Matt and another marketing person. So we proactively, March 15th, moved everybody remote, and just decided to keep. Actually, Simon's first week, he was supposed to start the week after we went remote. We asked him, like, can you start later? And he was like, yeah, I really can't. So he started, and he didn't walk into the office besides his first interview. I think it took you 6 months, 8 months to even walk in the office for the first time.
Yeah, and even then I've only been a handful of times in the whole year that I've been here. So everything has been remote as of the past year.
But it worked out. I mean, we ended up hiring. We increased our staff probably by double at this point. And we have staff in 9 or 11 states, something crazy like that.
Wow.
And we've just been expanding nationally instead.
Okay, so it's worked out. Yeah, I mean, for myself, I've been into the office once. I'm going to pop by there today. We have a great office tower. I don't know if, I doubt Ray watched it. Maybe Simon did. Have you seen the show Smallville?
Oh, yeah. Love that guy. Are you saying because Simon's small? Is that why you're...
Is that
I mean, that's not really nice, Miles. That's
little guys, Smallville. Come on, Miles.
I'm saying it because I was in my mid-20s when the show was popular, and it was geared towards the younger crowd. So
right.
I thought maybe
Simon's 22. He was in his prepubescent.
Yeah, that was it.
No, I do remember. Actually, I had one of my favorite Lex Luthors in there.
Okay,
so yeah,
well, that's the building we're based in here in Vancouver, and we just expanded as well. So that's where I'm heading. You can't really see it here. Maybe you can a little bit. Let me see if I can do this here without losing you. It's over there somewhere. It's right behind that black building is where I'm going today for lunch.
Yeah.
And that's the office from Smallville and for us. So there you go. Okay, moving along. Phishing kits. Ray, take a guess what this is.
These are Amazon gift cards. You're gonna buy me some gift cards. Have you modified these with the people working from home?
These slides, you mean?
No. I mean like the phishing kits.
Well, okay. So this is, if you can believe it, you can actually buy these now on the dark web. So this came out at the end of 2019 into 2020, and you can actually now go on the dark web and buy kits if you want to. It's basically like a learn to be a criminal, which this would have never been a thing a couple of years ago, and now it's like a how-to guide to be a hacker, which is so crazy. I don't know if you guys have heard about this before, but this is something that I always talk about because this is where the cyber criminals are. They're actually selling these. They're almost acting like agents these days. So,
well, I saw that, there's some ransomware gangs and stuff like that where they're they're brokering the deals, they're providing the platform, the infrastructure. You go rent out some botnets, and we've seen DDoS attacks. Actually, we're going through one right now. And actually, Starlink is down today also because of a DDoS attack, besides all the bandwidth stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's the dark web's ridiculous. It's making it so easy for anybody. I remember growing up, we'd talk about script kiddies, right? You'd have a credit card generator, you'd have, some password list. They just get something for 30-40 bucks and they'd be able to, break into a computer. And now you can get these really sophisticated tools for little money, way too easily. And it's really raised the bar as far as, how much vigilance you have to have.
Well, it's scary. I did a talk about ransomware yesterday, and I was talking about double threat and triple threat attacks now, and double extortion and triple extortion attacks. And the triple extortion is pretty crazy because you guys, Simon had mentioned earlier about these DDoS attacks that are going on in the States right now, and these triple extortion attacks, they'll come in, they'll obviously encrypt your files or encrypt your computer, then they'll ask for money to get that back. Then they'll ask for money not to share it with the media, and then they'll do a DDoS attack. So that's a triple extortion attack. And I had never even heard of this up until about 6 months ago. So now these criminals are getting so much more sophisticated that they're actually trying to attack you 3 ways to get money. So, all right, Simon.
They're making a good they're making a good living doing it, right?
Yeah, they are. Simon, we're testing your skills here. Then we're going to test Ray. How much does Microsoft spend on cybersecurity each year? 4, 6, 8, or Simon's current net worth $1 billion? What do you think it is?
I'm gonna have to go with 600 million.
Ray, what do you got?
See, I don't know if it's the right answer, but I have to do the Austin Powers, like $1 billion. Haha, I mean, I'm just hoping it's that.
All right, well, do it. You have to do it. Do it in the accent.
This is so bad. $1 billion. It's more like Count Chocula.
Yes, correct. $1 billion. Well done. I actually watched one of those Austin Power movies last week. I forgot how incredible they are, by the way, just going off on a tangent here.
Oh, they're awesome. Absolutely amazing.
Simon, have you seen
any Austin Powers? Have you Spy Who Shagged Me or any of the other ones?
Can we move on to the next slide, please? I'm sorry, guys. I just do marketing and watch YouTube videos the whole day.
Ray, that scene in the Austin Powers where he's picking the skin off of his body and keeping it in the little glass vials. Simon's like, what are you talking about? Simon, you're
love it.
Go watch all the Austin Powers movies, okay? If you don't do it for me, just do it for Ray.
You got it.
Please,
All right, so this will blow your mind here. So, Ray, yesterday, 306 billion emails were sent each day. Okay, yesterday, 306 billion emails. By 2025, this will go up 25% to 376 billion emails. So, people like
ridiculous.
Friends and family, clients are always like, well, why is there more phishing now? Well, partly because there's so many more ways, so many more vectors, so many more ways to attack people. Because phishing is something you obviously do mostly through email. But I actually don't even know if I included my slide here. I actually almost got hit. This is purely for Simon right here. But I almost got breached on Instagram recently.
Oh man.
Ray, have you ever seen an Instagram attack?
I've never seen an Instagram attack. That's a new one to me.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've all probably started to get these stupid smishing messages on your phone. Smishing is an SMS texting phishing message. But recently, one of the local hotels here, Hotel Z, was running a contest. I'm a big shoe guy, and they were designing up customized Converse All-Star shoes with the Hotel Z logo. So you got a 3-night stay and a free pair of shoes. I was on Instagram. All you had to do was tag a friend or two, and they would let you know, if you're the winner. Next day, I get a message saying you're the winner. I'm very excited at this point. And then it says, where do you want to stay? Because they have hotels all over Western Canada. I put my location that I wanted to go to, which was up in the mountains. And then it said, great, what are your dates? And then just to hold the booking, you need to put in your credit card. And then I was like, okay, this is a little bit weird. And to be honest, you always need a credit card to hold a hotel, so it didn't actually seem that weird. I ended up calling the hotel and I told them, I said, I work in cybersecurity. What's going on? And they had checked their campaigns and they had been scammed or spoofed, I guess.
Wow.
So I don't think I have that message in here, but I can. I'll send it to you guys. You'll be very interested to see how close the two were.
That's the scary part. Like I sit here and there's plenty of times where like even legitimate emails, I sit there and I look at them and it's like you start to examine them and you'll mouse over, you'll see the URL, you'll like everything lines up and they're so good that you still question it no matter what. But smishing, I don't think I've ever heard that word. That's gonna be a new one for me. I can't wait.
It sounds a little naughty, I'm not gonna lie. It sounds like something that happens in Europe, but I swear to you, it's not.
When you said it, I had to check the background to make sure it wasn't tech bar. I'm like, oh wait, where's this going? But,
well,
but either way, we can say don't get smished, right?
Yeah,
like that's
don't get smishy with it. But the reason why these smishing attacks are becoming more popular is because what did I read recently? It's a 98% click rate on a text message, and it's only like a 15% click rate on an email. So like, any text message I get, I just got one about 10 minutes ago from the company that we get food delivered from. And they're like, hey, we're going to be there in a couple hours, blah, blah, blah. You always open these. And I mean, I get this generic message from a number that's not even a phone number. It comes from 66358. I mean, eventually these cyber criminals are going to go around to saying, hey, you know what? Your accounts, something's wrong with your fresh prep order today, or your credit card didn't work this month. Click on this link and input your new data. And because it's coming through as a text message, you don't think that these companies have been hacked. But, that's something that's going to be happening more and more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I'm gonna dive a little into the product now. So you were talking earlier about with the new hybrid model. So a lot of times businesses think that a company's biggest liability is the employees, but at Graphus we actually like to kind of flip that on its head and say a company's biggest liability is actually their biggest asset. And how that works, our product, probably the biggest thing we do, if we want to just get simple, we give people peace of mind because we stop 99% of all phishing attacks. And there's obviously companies out there that use a secure email gateway or an SEG, and we're 60% more efficient. These secure email gateways are great. They stop a lot of the attacks before they get into the email, but we actually like to say we work from inside and outside because we're actually embedded into the internet, into the email system. All right.
So you're saying we wouldn't receive those Amazon gift card scams every time we got a new hire?
Well, this is the thing. So like the one I got, I remember I mentioned to you that my boss had sent one, and it had his name and it had his exact email. Okay. So that's why I obviously thought it was legit. But with Graphus, we'll actually look at the IP. We'll actually look at many different things to actually figure out if it's real or if it's fake. I mean, it's easy to find out that it didn't come from his IP address. And so that's why it'll get flagged up in the system. So there's ways, and we have those controls in place to make sure that those emails don't get through. Okay.
Yeah, I saw, excuse me. I actually did, believe it or not, Sandy's not going to believe me. I did some homework when we decided to do this webinar. And I talked to one of my buddies, Matt Rose, who is a very happy from Tech Rage, also an accomplished author. Actually, I wish I had his book next to me. But he's a user of Graphus, and I had him show me around the platform before doing this. One of the things he showed me was that you have this the executive spoofing protection where you can put executive names in there. I thought that was brilliant. You know what I mean? Obviously, you want to block everything, but like these are the higher risk ones with the names. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I mean, like we were talking about that earlier, Ray. It's often called whaling because they're going after the big fish, or spear fishing, and they're going after that C-suite. So, say for example, Ray, we would when we're actually putting in the names into the system, we would put Ray and also Raymond because we want to make sure, because these cyber criminals are getting smart. They know that your name is Ray or that's how you're looked at on social media, but they'll actually come up with a fake email that goes by Raymond right? And so they're actually figuring this out. So we can actually put in all those different names. I mean, Simon, there's no real short version for that. Miles, no short version for that. But, you know, for
There is a short
Simon, the
version.
jokes just write
You're
themselves.
looking at him. There is a short version.
But yeah, and it's so neat that you can actually go in there and do this stuff. So so a little bit about the product. We got 3 levels of defense. We have our Trust Graph, which is our AI technology. We've got the Employee Shield, and then we've also got Phish 911. So we can actually be up and running quickly. Usually, depending on the size of the organization, 5 minutes to an hour is how long it takes to embed into the email system, which is just for Office 365 and G Suite as well. So this is.
Are you doing MX records, or are you doing API level? How are you getting
no
emails?
MX records? Nothing to change there. This is a great way to kind of show how the Trust Graph works. So on the right-hand side, you can see all the different, there's about 50 different things we look at per email. And then we actually give each email a trust score to see if it should be allowed into your email. And this is all done, obviously, in a second. And that's what's so great about the system. And then if something's wrong, so say it sees a message from Ray, I always tell this story. It looks at the who, when, where, and how do your employees communicate, because it wants to know, like if Simon is reaching out to an old friend, it's going to know that he's reached out to an old friend. So that's a trusted contact. But if, say someone who Simon doesn't know reaches out, they're going to know that Simon's never actually communicated with this person before on his email. Is that kind of clear?
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
I always tell the story that my first couple weeks in the job, I got an email from the old girlfriend. Actually, I shouldn't say old girlfriend, from the girlfriend. And it actually blocked her email from coming through because she had never sent an email from that email address before. So maybe they knew that we had gotten in a fight that morning. I don't know, but it blocked the email. And
how much trouble were you in that night when
you
didn't respond?
We're not going to talk about that. But it actually knew that I hadn't communicated with her before. So it said, this is not from a trusted sender. And so it actually put one of these on the far right, which is part of our Employee Shield. So it actually put that label on saying, you probably want to do a deep dive into who this person is because it's probably not someone you've talked to before. So we interact with this every day in our business, and it's something you get used to. So like, for example, Ray, you're the head of the company. You send out an email to Simon. If it comes across as Raymond instead of just Ray, Simon will get a message saying, this looks like somebody who's from your company, but there's something wrong with the email. So it actually gives you the details, and it changes about what the phishing problem is. So whether it's your IP address or something, and it'll actually give you that on the far side.
I love that. That is super cool.
And then obviously, if it is a phishing email, which usually it's quite clear what they are, you can report it's phishing. So then the email, the system actually figures out through AI who this person is and who they're talking to, and to block them for next time. If it's reporting a false positive, it knows that, you know what, maybe that is one of Simon's old friends, or he gave out his business card at an event, and they actually realize that was actually someone that Simon wanted to talk to. He reports a false positive. They realize this is a trusted sender. Okay?
Okay. Very cool.
And lastly, this is the one I love to talk about. This is called Phish 911. I'll go to this slide first, and I'll pop back. So this is where our Phish 911 works. So Ray, you're based in Florida. Where is the farthest west person in the business?
That would be Jack in Vegas.
So Vegas is what, 2 hours behind you guys? Is that right?
3.
Okay. Oh, they're West Coast. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So say you get an email when you're in Miami. It's clearly a phishing email. You can report phishing email. By the time your coworker in Vegas wakes up, it's actually been pulled out of his system. So this is something that we do that a lot of companies don't do. So you can let's get Simon to read this out. Bottom corner, read it out, Simon.
Report an email from anywhere, and we'll quarantine it everywhere.
Boom, mic drop. So this is one of the big parts of our business that I love talking about, because it actually gets smarter. So it figures out who you're talking to, how you're talking, how you're communicating. And then because you are actually involved with the process, you're actually helping it learn, and then it actually pulls that information. And you can go back into a sandbox mode later and actually do some a deep dive into it if you want to. If someone reported a phishing email but it turned out not to be, but that's something that our system has, which is great, that a lot of companies don't have. Okay.
Love that. Yeah.
I know, Ray, you like sexy things. You're always sending me messages saying, Miles, I love sexy things. Well, here is what
you start talking about smishing. What am I going to think, bro? Of course.
Exactly. So this is our beautiful, sexy Graphus platform. It's simple to read. It's easy to understand. If you have a mobile phone, I know a lot of people who are working at home are doing a lot of texting or smishing. Well, probably not smishing, but messaging from the couch. So what does that mean? You're going to have the same style on your phone that you have in your inbox or on your desktop or laptop. So it's really
actually, I need to bring up something here that Matt, sorry to cut you off, but something Matt brought up, because every MSP asks the same thing. Oh, can I brand it? The warning label, you can pick the colors and your logo text and the safe link colors. So, you can match your company branding if you want that, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. And I mean, so this is the neat thing as well, is that each message is different. So, I know a lot of people get bored with seeing the same message. I mean, I'll be honest, I probably get anywhere from 1 to 5 of these messages a day. So you're not getting these messages on every email. And maybe when you first load the system, you'll get a few of these to start. But to be honest, it's going to know who you talk to. So I get maybe 1 to 5 of these a day. And so the second I get one of these messages, I look at it, and obviously I want to find out what the issue is. If you're a company that wants to use a red or a blue or a yellow background, you can do that. I find most people like to stick with the purpley pink image we have, or go with red, because we want it to make an impact on somebody. And then it also goes through the different styles. So say the phishing attempt was a domain spoofing, it'll actually say that there. So you actually learn as the system learns.
Very cool.
Getting up and running, we obviously give you our Jumpstart Resources Kit, which can get you, if you are an MSP, this can help you sell the product, of course. It gives you, email templates. It gives you more information, more background information on us and what we do. And then if you've got a little bit of cash, we have a thing called Powered Services Pro, which is basically the Jumpstart Kit on steroids. Ray, have you had Dan on you've had Dan on before, right?
I've had Dan. Well, I've had him on the Tech Bar. We haven't had him on Partner First yet. Okay. Well,
if you need me to give him a call, I can get him on board, of course. But I'm guessing you probably know him a lot more than I have.
Yeah, the Dan that is grew up across the street from the other Dan Tomaszewski, that same last name but different fathers supposedly, and yeah.
Well, I finally actually, Simon and I had dinner with the other Dan Tomaszewski in San Antonio, and we had I would say that was one of the best dinners I've had all year. I don't think I've laughed that much, Simon.
Miles is witness that I am not the smallest guy on the channel. I'm just saying that.
We're looking, if I don't know if we can do this for ASCII Cup or for some upcoming event. We are going to, Dan, Everything MSP Dan has already agreed to a one-on-one game, basketball game between the two of them, or a dunk contest. We haven't decided yet. It's going to be fun.
That's a great idea. So Dan obviously runs up our Powered Service Pro team. And so what this is, like I mentioned, it's our Jumpstart Kit on steroids. So Dan's team will actually hop on calls with an MSP and will actually help them sell the product to the end user. Right now, we're one of the only companies that does this. And you want someone who's an expert in the field to hop on the call with you. A lot of MSPs say, that they struggle with marketing and sales. And we kind of take that away from them, and we actually help you out. I think Dan's doing about 50 calls a week right now, and his team is doing about 50 calls a week, where they're hopping on these calls, selling the product to the end user. And what they also do, they actually give out 29 white labeled marketing materials. So, if you need content for your LinkedIn, you need content for your newsletters that go out every month, we kind of take that and we give you that part of the program. So it's a really nice system. That's Powered Services Pro.
And that's the thing that like so many people miss out. They get the tool, and how many of them say, "Oh yeah, well, I haven't had a chance," or I need to learn it first, and just that ability to just jumpstart it, just get somebody that's a subject matter expert to speak authoritatively to your client, sell it in the best fashion possible. I think that's great.
For sure. So I'm actually going to come back to this slide after the last slide. So I was talking to Simon about this earlier. A lot of my role is talking to thought leaders in the industry. I recently had Rachel Wilson on, who's often known as the Queen of the Hackers. She was one of the highest females at the NSA, and she actually ran cybersecurity at the London Olympics. So she was based in London for about 2 years, and she ran the whole cybersecurity program during the London Olympics. And I had her on for a call and a question and answer last month. And this is the one that I definitely want you two to come and join us for, and hopefully some of our listeners. I'm actually talking to Tony Sales at the end of October. And I actually had my first preliminary call with him today. Tony Sales is known as Britain's greatest fraudster. He did all types of things from cyber crimes to cyber risk. He talks about fraud awareness, and he's gone the full circle. He went from being a criminal himself to spending time in prison to getting out, and now he actually does work with a lot of major brands on how they can limit their cybersecurity presence and make sure that they're protected. So Tony Sales' story is unbelievable. I don't know if you're Googling him right now, Ray, but I will send you an article.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
He is basically, if we want to say, the Wolf of Wall Street of the cybercrime world from the UK. That's kind of what he is. He's from Southeast London. He has got stories for days. I couldn't even get him off the phone this morning because I was so excited to chat with him. And I'm so excited. Supposedly his story is being made into a movie. That's what we've heard. And I can't.
Nice.
I'll be there on opening night with Simon to watch this movie.
I love that. So it's sort of like, what was the one with DiCaprio, the Catch Me If You Can kind of thing?
Yeah, it's like across.
I love those.
And the Wolf of Wall Street mixed in with a little cybercrime action. So
I love that.
Yeah, so
that's pretty awesome. Can't wait for that one.
Yeah, and then I guess before we have a little chat, I just want to see if anyone out there, any of the listeners, would love a demo. It probably won't be from me. I kind of give the 30,000-foot view of the product. We have way smarter people than me, solutions experts, who will actually do a deep dive. I know you're probably thinking, wow, is there someone smarter than Miles? But yes, there are. There are several.
I don't believe it. I absolutely don't believe it. I mean, Harvard, Yale, MIT, like, who can keep up with that? No,
I know,
man, I don't believe it.
That's how it goes. So, but yeah, if anyone wants a demo, we would love to get on and help you out with the demo here. Obviously, I'm going to be traveling around over the next month or two now that we're allowed out of Canada. I think you said Sandy was on the call with you. Since we've opened up to the world, I've been to San Antonio with Simon and Sean and the crew. And then I was just recently in Boston with Sean. And then I was also in, where am I going? North Carolina next week. So wow. I'm going to be all over the map. I've got a Vegas trip. I've got a Chicago trip. I'll be in LA again. I was just in San Diego last week. So, so I'm excited to see some of your viewers in person if I can.
Absolutely. And if you guys don't know, Miles is, we joked about the most interesting guy in the world. I can only imagine, Tony Sales and Miles Walker sharing stories with each other. It's kind of like when you have, Alexa and the Google Assistant talking back and forth to each other. But if you get a chance to hit up Miles either on LinkedIn or live in person, he has some of the best stories, and it's become a game where you just give him any topic whatsoever and he has a story related to that. It's absolutely amazing.
For sure. Well, it used to be the country game. Because I come over from the travel industry, and they used to say, like, how many countries have you been to? I'm like, I don't know, 90 or 100. And they used to say, like, what is Ethiopia like, or Tanzania? But now I'm getting other ones. I keep missing the screen. What did Sandy just say?
Oh, sorry. He said, why would you ever want to leave God's country in Vancouver?
Well, just to give you some background, I've already sent out an invite to Simon that anytime you guys come to Vancouver, I'm looking after you guys. But I was actually born in a small fishing town, a small fishing village in England, and I moved to Canada as a kid, and then I moved back to England in my 20s. But before I got to England, I had stops living in Cambodia, Ethiopia, and the Dominican Republic. And so,
Wow.
you know, I could talk about that stuff for days, but, you know, I've really enjoyed being on here. Is there any questions? You know, anyone want to know anything about us, or is that?
Yeah, any questions out there? I mean, there's a little 20-second lag here. Simon, while we're waiting for the questions, you want to go over the upcoming events?
Yeah, of course. So we do have a couple events coming up in the next couple of weeks. So the first one will be tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're gonna be doing the Tech Bar podcast featuring Rob Ray of Dado. We'll be back at the bar with Rob Ray. On 10:13, we're actually gonna be doing a partner first. Ransomware's worst enemy, Unified BCDR, and that's with Brian Doty of Unitrends MSP, which I know is a good friend of Miles as well.
Oh yeah.
On 10:14, we have the Tech Bar podcast, episode 27, featuring Sandy McGrath of Final Frontier System, Aaron Bolton of Upskill Learning Solutions, and Brian Cloutier of Security Studio. And then in October, we're going to be in Orlando for the ASCII SMBIT Success Summit. And then in November, the first week of November, we'll be at the Channel Partners Expo in Las Vegas. For anyone that wants to get a cup, the cup that Miles showed, be sure to visit our booth and come talk to us. Come take a picture with us. Let's talk VoIP.
Excellent. Well, we have Miles' information below. So if you have any questions, reach out directly. The question we always ask: are these recorded? It's going to be available immediately. So the next 1,000 or so people that'll watch, I'm sure they'll be reaching out and asking for demos. Miles, thank you so much, and thanks for and Simon too. Thank you guys for chugging along despite all my technical challenges, my technical deficits today. I have 2 internet connections, and I always brag. 2 internet connections at home, and I have my Google Fi for backup if I need as a hotspot, and all 3 failed today. It was amazing.
Well,
So
I would say Simon is trying to take your job there, Ray. So you maybe have to knock him back a few pegs, because he did an incredible job.
And that's the problem, right? He did no preparation whatsoever, and he still did better than me. That's just we're gonna have to talk about that. So anyway, Miles, thank you so much. Guys, reach out to Miles. Contact information is there. Protect yourself. The last thing you want is to be phished. And definitely we'll talk again when you guys come out with this phishing product.
Sounds good. Yeah, for sure. You'll be the first one to know.
Looking forward to it. All right. Take care, guys. Have a good one.
You guys.